You better work. You better work. Yay. About 30 seconds to go and we'll get right into it. All right, we're going to get started. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about how to avoid being a target of social engineering and why it is so important and why it is now becoming such a problem for everybody who uses the digital world. So just let me get my slides up. Everything going according to plan, it should be that one. So what we're going to talk about today is how to become aware of what's going on in your social engineering environment and why you need to protect yourself against it. My name is Roger Smith. I am an author. I have 2 books out on digital crime and cyber security. I'm also in the process of writing my 3rd book on the same subject. I am a speaker. I train people. I lecture at Australian Defence Academy. I write a lot of blogs, and I am really, really focused on digital crime and how we can counteract it and what we can do about it. Just to start off with, if you really want, quite happily jump on that and download it. It's a free electronic version of my 1st book. It is not an ebook. It is a full-blown book on the basics of business information, how you can protect yourself and what you need to do. So today we're going to talk about social engineering. Social engineering is a problem. It is for the simple fact that today's digital world, everybody is after everything that they can get their grotty little hands on. And that includes your information, your data, your access to money. All of those sort of things are really important to them. And later on down in the presentation, I will actually show you the monetary value of these type of components. So what we're going to look at today is what is social engineering? Why do the bad guys use it? What types of social engineering we see, and how we protect ourselves against it and make sure that we are not a target of social engineering. Is getting you or manipulating your person to doing something you would not normally do. And uses ideas to get you to do something that you've been trained not to do. And they are very, very good at it. So the malware, the scripting, the virus, whatever the delivery, the attachment, or anything along those lines. Get you to work outside where you would get better and better and better. And it's very hard for a digital criminal to attack you through a firewall from the ability of being able to do something like it. So what they've now morphed into is getting you to do something. Stupidity is what makes social engineering why they use it. Engineering to make us a target. Well, one of the most important parts of social engineering is getting people to divulge information that is private. So addresses, names, social security numbers, all of these sort of things are really important to the people who are using social engineering, because they can then build up a dossier on who you are, what you do, what you like, what you don't like. All of that information to them is gold. We've all seen people who have said, oh, I've got this email from someone that says there's someone is in love with me and I need to download this app. Or we've seen ads on the side of websites that have been infected with malware. And when you click on that ad, then the malware gets delivered. But one of the most important and one of the best ways for the bad guys to social engineering us is via phone and email. How about you get a phone call that says your PC is infected with a virus? I would think that was really strange to start off with, but it happens. Or you get an email that says you need to do this, or you need to click on this, or you need to follow this, or you need to go here and buy this. And that phishing email is really important, and we'll talk about phishing emails later on. And then we've got hoaxes, supers. Your super has been reduced by X amount of dollars, or your 419K, or whatever they call it in America. Well, the classic example is the Nigerian princes, or even more is the Nigerian astronaut that came out last year. He's stuck up there and nobody wants to save him. And then there's also the philanthropy, Save the Whales, helping people in need. Nice is probably a classic example. And for every one site that's come up that is actually legitimate, there'll be 10 that aren't. So they're making you play or do things that you would not normally do. But what the whole thing behind social engineering is getting us to trust them. And by doing that, they give us a plausible story. They imply that they know someone or know something, or you went to school together, or you were at the Blarney Castle in 1995. So they make it as plausible as possible. But how do you know that this young girl is not really this gentleman? Because that is usually who is at the other end of that pretty picture on Facebook. And then we have fake branding. Now, there's a product that we use at ADFA called WeMan. And what WeMan does is actually scrapes the logon page of a website. By scraping that, it actually looks like the website, feels like a website. So we can look like Facebook, or we can look like Twitter. And we can now send you an email that says you need to go to this link to reset your password on Facebook because it's stuffed up. And then you log on to the fake Facebook, click the button, real Facebook comes up. You don't even know you've been hacked, and you have been, in that case, in that environment. The other one is fear factor. Who's gone to a website that has the you need to update Java in it? And by updating Java, you are making yourself so you can see a video. And if you think about it, you just watched a video 20 minutes ago. How come I didn't have to update Java there? So again, they use that fear factor. And then we have fake bloggers, or we have social media, Facebook friends, LinkedIn colleagues, school friends, all of these people who may be real, who may be people we can trust, but in most cases they aren't. There was an article on one of the American news channels recently that proved that if you walk into the street with a microphone and a camera, you can literally ask anything. And their concept was to go out and ask why people didn't have passwords or secure passwords. And people were telling them their passwords. Scary stuff. So what are the types of social engineering we see? Well, there's one called pretexting. That's creating a story that gets you interested. Classic example is you're a database analyst and you get an invite to go and speak at a conference. Now, wouldn't that perk your interest? Wouldn't that get you interested in clicking that link that they just sent you? And how do you know that it's not the real thing or someone else? We also have phishing. Now, going back to pretexting, same thing. The delivery method for most of the social engineering components is email, because a compromised email system you can send out millions and millions and millions of email because it's free. But all those emails come out, Nigerian princes, Nigerian astronauts, pay slips. We're now getting printed PDFs being sent through. We're getting natural and human disasters. Who remembers Fukushima? When Fukushima happened, everybody wanted to donate, wanted to help out the Japanese. Well, you're quite happily donating to maybe a cyber criminal as well. And then we got spear phishing. Now, spear phishing takes it to the next level, the next step up, if you like. Because when you are targeted by a spear phishing attack, going back to our database analysts, they know that this person is interested in talking. They know that if they send them an email about talking about his subject, then they are more likely to get someone to click on it. And it usually is targeting people with position, status, rank, or capability. And what we're finding is that it doesn't matter who you are, most people fall for it when you are stroked. And we are very vain people when it comes to that. And then we have whaling. Now, whaling is the next step up. If you've got a boss and you receive an email that you perceive to be from the boss, asking for specific information, specific types of information, then there's a good chance that you are going to follow that through. And it usually is from a hierarchical upper to a subordinate. Please download the database and email it to me as a CSV. Yeah, no worries, I can do that. Excuse me. Why would you even want that? Why would you even think that that would be something that you would do? But then again, what they're trying to do is compromise your computer. Whether it's compromising your computer, your cloud-based system, your tablet, your phone, anything along those lines, you'd be surprised the monetary value of what they can glean from that information. For instance, they can get your account credentials. So eBay, PayPal, banks. They can get your financial credentials. Once again, banks. They can get or do damage to your reputation. Sending a status update to Facebook calling all your friends idiots. Now that's going to do you a lot of good, isn't it? That's going to damage your reputation. They can actually then roll the system into botnets. Now, a botnet is a system of computers, technology that is all joined together through a piece of malware. And they are then used to target other systems, either send out email or do a DDoS attack or become a site that goes onto websites and clicks on those things that make them money. And then we have hostage attacks. Who ever heard of the fake antivirus that happened in 2009, I think it was? Yes, it was, 2009. Fake AV box came up on the system that says, I'm scanning your computer, and what do you want to do about it if we find a virus? Oh, look, we found 40,000 viruses. You need to download our system. So they were holding your system to hostage to get you to invest in money. The FBI fake antivirus was actually run by a company in the Ukraine. And it was quite interesting when the FBI and a joint task force decided to kick in the doors. They found out that of 110 people who worked there, only 5 were involved in the criminal activity. Everybody else thought they were doing the right thing. They thought they were working for the real people. And then we got email attacks. They can use the information that they gain from your system to harvest email addresses or have access to corporate mail. And all of these 6 components quite happily plugs into the cyber criminal shopping list. And if they get your full creds, which is their target, then you have some serious problems. But also, if you think about it, when it comes to email, and when it comes to phishing and spam and all that sort of stuff, they use that in very effective ways. They use that to a level where normal business doesn't understand it. Normal people don't understand it. And they use that information to take it to the next step. And that's why social engineering is so dangerous at a business level. The other one they use is baiting. This is where they take physical media and distribute it all over the place. There was a problem with Australian Computer Magazine a couple of years ago where the actual gold copy was infected with a malware because someone had downloaded it from somewhere where they shouldn't have. But the classic example is what happened in Las Vegas, where they got 100, 200 USB sticks. They had a nice little graphic on the front, addressed to Boeing or branded as Boeing. Had lots of photos inside the USB with planes and airports and all that sort of stuff. They also had an executable called Gimme. And people were stupid enough to click on it. Big problem. And then there's Google search. Now, Google search is very hard to understand how they can compromise something as basic as a search algorithm, but they can. Now, we use normal business, enterprise uses SEO, search engine optimization. Well, the digital criminal has taken it to the next level because they've got the botnet to be able to put that search result above yours. Now, if you're HP or Dell and you've got drivers that you want people to download, you'll be surprised where HP and Dell are number 6 or number 7. Those ones above, quite happily, are designed to get you to click on the link, go to the website, get totally, absolutely bamboozled and confused, and download malware, ransomware. And that's why they do it. And then there's the pro quo component. Fill in this checklist and we will give you a prize. Go to this survey form and we will give you a prize. Bit of a problem when you think about it. There are legitimate, and it's also very wise to keep an eye out legitimate systems who are actually doing this. And then there's other systems that come down to social engineering as well. So we've got tailgating. So following someone into a secure environment. We've got shoulder surfing, sitting in a cafe and having someone over your shoulder reading your information. Waterholing is where they infect a location where everybody will go to in an organization. So SharePoint or an HR portal where you go to get your pay and your money and all that sort of stuff. And then there's the old confidence trick. And confidence tricks are literally how the old guys used to do it. There was a recent example about 4 years ago about a bank in Germany. And this businessman came in a number of times and he came in with chocolate. So hacking by chocolate. Love it. And what he would do is he'd introduce himself and everybody thought he was a high-end businessman. But he managed to get himself from the front door to the safe in the space of 6 months, with nobody asking any questions and nobody thinking about what they were doing. He walked away with 120,000 carats of diamonds. That's a hell of a lot of money. Obviously, he knew what he was doing, but it was also big balls, really big balls. So how can you protect yourself? Chocolate, bit of a problem. But everything else, I think we can talk about. What you need to know is how you establish what is sensitive information and why you need to protect it. And once you've done that, you can then go back and do the next part, which is work out who has access to it and how that system can be accessed. Now, what I mean by this is, if you've got a database with all of your clients' information, what can people do with it? Yes, they can use the application and they can access and manipulate the data. Fine, that's what they're supposed to be doing. But if someone rings up on the phone and asks a specific question about a client, what is the process that they're allowed to do? Are they allowed to email information out of it? Are they allowed to phone information out of it? Can they print information? Can they print that information, stick it on a courier and send it out of the organisation? Those things are very important, because if you're telling your organisation that these are the processes, then you can kick people when they go outside that process. And that's really, really important as a business level, but also as a corporate level, because it means that people understand where they stand. If you are printing out information, make sure you have a shredder. And this includes stuff at home. All those bills that you keep or you pay and you throw in the bin, don't throw them in the bin, run them through a shredder. If you've got a document management system that comes in and takes away your confidential information once a week, once a month, then take them to work and throw them in that if you have to. But don't. You'll be surprised how much information is on a receipt. And it is quite scary when you think about it. One of the things that we push constantly is, if you update your systems, then the chances of that malware or piece of malware that is being used to target you can't get a foothold because it hasn't got the vulnerability there anymore. And that's why updates are really important. And updates are one of the most critical components of protecting your organization. But in today's world, Microsoft and Apple have now got really picky about it and really pushy about it. With Windows 10, it'll come up and say you need to apply updates. A couple of days later, you need to apply updates. A couple of days later, you need to apply updates. And it will do this for a whole month, until at the end of the month, it goes, bugger it, you're not listening, I'm going to apply updates. And it's really, really annoying when Windows 10 shuts down your laptop in the middle of a presentation because you haven't done your updates. And as you can understand, that's why updates are now perceived as one of the most important components of a business. And then we've got complex passwords. How many passwords do we have? Thousands. How many of them are the same? How many of them are really, really basic? Password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All passwords need to have complexity. They have to be unique for every site, and they have to be more than 10 characters long. They cannot be numbers and letters that look the same or the same as what we're doing. Can't be dictionary words. So that makes it really difficult for us to keep complex passwords. But there are ways of doing it. I'm not going to go into them here. If you want to know information, there's a very good video we did a couple of months ago on how to create really complex passwords. If possible, use two-factor authentication. Now, two-factor authentication is now being pushed by some of the bigger companies in the world. Google uses it now for its Gmail. Microsoft uses it. It can be done on a number of platforms that we use. Two-factor authentication means that you have a username, your password, and you have something that either you carry or you know. For instance, username, password, and they SMS you a code that you then put into the website. Or you carry a dongle that changes numbers every 2 minutes. All important, very important. If you've got a secure system that you want to keep secure, then two-factor authentication is brilliant for it. The other thing is, especially some of the really interesting systems have this security question. And the security question is, what was your mother's maiden name? With a bit of searching and a bit of social engineering, you can find out what your mother's maiden name was. But what happens if you go, what is your mother's maiden name? And you put down purple. Or what is your favorite color? Jones. That type of thing means you're getting creative with your security questions. And use credit cards wisely. Always check to make sure that the websites you're using your credit card on have got the padlock in the corner. They have got a secure environment for you to put your details into. And once again, if you're really afraid, don't. If something on the web page just doesn't make sense, don't put it in there. We did some purchasing for some equipment for a client recently. And one of the questions was on the pay page, it was, we needed a date of birth and driver's license. Thank you, we'll go somewhere else. If you want that sort of information, I don't trust you at all. And the less information that you get from me, the better it is for me. Who's Googled themselves? Has anybody Googled themselves? Oh, look, one person. If you've Googled yourself, you'll be really, really surprised. But not only are you being, what's the word? Vain, but you're not. If you Google yourself, you Google your company, you Google if you've got a product that has a specific name, if you Google that, and then you are seeing information about that that you haven't put up there, then you need to do something about it. And if you Google yourself and you find information that you have put up there, then there are ways of removing it from Google. Even though everybody says once you put it up on the internet, it's there forever, there are ways of actually making it so it's very hard to find that information. Not so much to remove it, make it really difficult to find. And then the last part of this is you need to educate not only yourself, but your organization. Because if everybody is thinking about this shit, then there is a really good chance that you won't be targeted. Because when they do target you, you sit there and go, that's crap, that's crap, that's crap. Oh, look, that's interesting. So you're in a position where you are now making decisions based on reality, not being pushed into things, not being swayed, not being lied to, not being focused on. Very important. And the last really important part is back it up. We all know the digital world. How many people have you run into that said, I couldn't call you because I lost my phone? Yeah, right. Maybe they just didn't want to talk to you, but there is a good chance that they were very true. On top of that, how many people have rung up an organisation and said, I want to buy your product, and being told, oh, sorry, we can't sell it, it's down. Okay, we have a problem here. And that's where your business continuity, recovery, and your backup really come into their fore. So in conclusion, what are we going to do about all this? About social engineering and why it is such an impactful system that the bad guys are using really to their own benefit? Well, one thing is trust no one. Anybody can be hacked. Anybody can send you an email that has been compromised. So don't trust anybody. If you're going to receive those emails, then make sure they are coming from persons that you actually know that they are. You weren't expecting a link from a client, don't open it. Yes, you can be talking to clients and all that sort of stuff, but trust no one, because it is really, really important if you do not trust anybody. Use common sense. Again, if you're in a situation where you have been told and you think to yourself, yeah, it doesn't make sense, that's good. If you're looking at a website and their English is bad, hey, use common sense. On top of common sense, there is also paranoia. The trouble is, in the digital world, it's not really paranoia, because in the digital world, the bad guys are after everybody. They target everybody they can get their little hands on. And if you've got a device that connects to the internet in some fashion, form, or component, then you are a target. No ifs, no buts. You can be targeted. And with the introduction of IP version 6, I can directly attack your Fitbit that you're wearing on your hand. And that means that I have to be paranoid. And the last one is increase your awareness. Get people to talk about this. If you're talking about this, there's a very good chance that something will not happen to you. And that makes it really good for not only your business, but also your staff, because they take this stuff home. They indoctrinate their families. So they are thinking how good it is. How do I protect myself? And also slow down. If you can slow down, then you can actually sit back and go, oh, that's wrong. That shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't have to do that. So reducing the pressure means you slow down. And that's really important as well. I have a book. My second book, Cybercrime, Clear and Present Danger, literally goes through my philosophy on how you protect your business. It goes into the 4 main components: technology, management, adaptability, and compliance. And those are really, really important for how you protect yourself. We also, if you want to contact us, if you want to follow us, those are the details. We're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Google+, and we're on Facebook. If you want to jump on to YouTube, this video will be up there within the next hour and a half or so. And we run webinars and seminars. Webinars like this one, seminars, 4-hour seminar on how to protect your business. We run them monthly in Sydney, Canberra, and Melbourne, and quarterly in Adelaide, Perth, and Brisbane. And if you want a book, just go to RNI Consulting/seminars. So thank you very much appreciated. And if there's any questions, you can quite happily come to questions. Where's my glasses? Right, any questions? Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I took some of the bullshit away from what you need to do. Thank you very much.